Are you ready?
I think so. Are you ready?
Pound it. Boom.
Do it. All right.
All right, here we go. In 5, 4, 3. Yeah! Woo! All right. That's
Okay,
enough
sorry.
of
I have to do
that.
that.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. This is Kyle. We are together in person.
We're back.
Yeah,
All
woo.
masked up and everything.
Masked up in a car, talking sports in a random parking lot.
Yeah.
But
a lot of
hey,
construction around here.
Yeah, it's all good. You know what? We're back together again for another in-person edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. I found out this past weekend that apparently I'm a tropical storm. That's going on right now.
Yes, he is. He's bombing down the Atlantic Ocean or up the East Coast or something. I don't know.
That's exactly what I'd do if I was a tropical storm.
Yeah,
you know?
you're. How does that make you feel? To like.
I don't know, kind of mixed. It's pretty cool that I finally, that there's a storm named after me. I was waiting for that, but I hope not too many people get hurt also in the process. So I'd also feel very bad about that. So I don't want to be one of those historically bad like tropical storms that just like destroy cities or anything like that. So
can you imagine having a name like Katrina?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, one of my former coworkers and good friends is named Katrina, and she was really upset about
Hurricane Katrina. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I killed all these people. You didn't have anything to do with it. It's just a name. You have no culpability. I promise you. You're okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I first started working at that school, and she was like, "Yep, I heard all the Katrina jokes." Yep. So.
But anyway, we're very excited to be here, like I said, tonight for a live episode and continuing a theme that we have been doing these last couple episodes as we delve into the high school track career of my beloved co-host Kyle. The last two episodes we did freshman year and sophomore year, which were both just the spring seasons, spring track and field. But tonight we are going to dive into our junior season, or his junior season, our junior year in high school, because we're both the same grade. If you didn't pick up on that, I don't know what else to tell you. But it's interesting because starting with this one for the next couple episodes, we'll actually be able to sort of fit in both the spring season and the winter track and field season, because for those last two seasons, Kyle participated in both. So let's get right into it. And I kind of want to ask you, Kyle, because obviously we'll start off with that winter season, the winter 2006-2007 track and field season, indoor track and field season. And by the way, I got to poke a little fun at myself last time because last time we were doing our sophomore year, which was the 2006 spring season, and I referred to as the 2010 spring season because apparently I had sophomore year in college on the mind, but it was not 2010, it was 2006. And this is 2006-07 for the winter track season. But I wanted to ask you first, Kyle, what sort of I think you talked about this a little bit on our previous couple episodes, but what sort of got you interested in / sort of made your decision to beginning junior year to go out not just for the spring track and field team, but the winter indoor track and field team as well?
Well, so kind of what I said, like I said before, my Coach Ruben, beloved Coach Ruben, he's such a great guy. He was the one I remember. He was one of the people that finally convinced me, and he kept being like, Kyle, I feel like this year you should definitely join winter track. And I was like, all right, And then not only from him, but also I'd see my other like fellow throwers. Kyle, do it, Kyle, do it. Winter, check, do it.
Do it. Peer pressure.
Yeah. So that was the thing. Like after hearing about it from him, and even hearing about it from all the other the teammates because most of the teammates, I'd say it's safe to say that most of the teammates who did outdoor also did indoor. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I don't have anything else to do this season, so you know what? I might as well, I'll give it a try. And it's also, it keeps you well in shape, for next season of football and everything too. So you know what? Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'll try it. I'll see what it's like. And honestly, I do not regret it at all. It was a really great indoor track season. I had to get used to one of the things that you definitely have to get used to because you're not outdoor. So I had wondered. I was like, okay, so if we're not going to be outdoor throwing at the throwing circle where we normally practice,
where do you practice? Yeah. So I found out the kind of like how they did it indoor was how they use like these special indoor shot puts. But the thing though about indoor track is that there is no discus. Because discus is definitely more of an outdoor event. You throw it farther outside. So yeah, there was no discus and no javelin. Because javelin's also more of a field event. Like you really need like an actual field to throw it. So I did have to get used to that a little bit. It was just it was, and thankfully I did. It's really not that different from throwing the metal shot put. It's just like the weighted shot put. It's like a plastic shot put they have with like they weight it with like a lot of metal and stuff like that inside. Right.
And it was really cool. It was a good experience actually. Yeah.
Very nice. Because and the interesting thing about the winter track and field season. Well, first before I get into this question, I want to ask you sort of what was the when you decide, what was sort of like because obviously you were doing football in the fall, so sort of obviously the fall season goes right into the winter season. So did you sort of have any sort of specific, training that you did, while you were playing football to get ready for the winter track season, or was it just sort of, using that football training sort of as your training sort of to get ready for it?
I would say the latter, because there wasn't that much time to get ready for
the record, not an actual ladder. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Don't throw those tomatoes!
But yes, it was definitely I can't remember if there actually was an actual preseason. I think they had some like practices, practice sessions and stuff like that. But it wasn't as intense. Like you just kind of flowed right.
Well, of course you have like winter break, like pretty soon after you start your preseason, so to speak. So it's like
yes. Oh, that's right. Exactly.
That's kind of sandwiched right in there.
Yes, I don't even think we did that many meets. I'm trying to remember if we actually had any meets at that point.
I feel like they always do the meets like after the first of the year. Like they always start the meets like in like January and February.
I think you might be right. I think it was. So I think in a way that kind of was our preseason. I gotta remember. You know what? Next week I'll double check with our future guest. He knows also a lot about. He remembers a lot about the indoor track.
Preview alert.
So. We won't spoil who it is, but very, very special. I can't even talk anymore. He's a special guest near and dear to our hearts. So, and you guys have seen him before. So, I'll definitely make sure I ask him next week when we have the episode. So, but yes. So, from what I remember, I don't think there was. Yeah, it was mostly like they just kind of got you into practice and. The workouts were a little different. We didn't really do. We didn't have that much space to run. Like usually during outdoor, we do like straights and curves. That was like the classic.
Didn't you guys like work out in like the hallways?
I think we did a little bit. Yeah. You know what? That's I think I may have even seen you. I think once or twice, right?
Probably.
I think you're right. We worked out because the gym. You can do some things in the gym, and the gym was kind of more for like we would usually do our team like warm ups in the gym.
But you also have to compete like basketball and wrestling and all of them. So
yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. So I think there were some days where we could use the gym and some days we couldn't. So that's why we kind of had to. You're right. We had to kind of time it out well. So it was a very different type of season, a very different way of doing practice, and I thought it was very interesting. You know, it was just kind of something different to adapt to, and you're right. Like some days we do the hallway, some days we just go in the weight room. You know, we just all pile up in there, and and yeah, other days we just we practice our throwing. I want to say we practiced throwing maybe like a couple times a week. Well, the other times we did some like workouts, so we kind of like switched it up a bit just to yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so the thing people have to understand about the winter season in particular as opposed to the spring season is all your meets are in the same place.
Yes.
For the winter season, you know, whether they're home meets or away meets, they're all in the same place because all the winter indoor track meets are actually held at the Reggie Lewis Center.
Oh, yeah.
In Boston. So this was sort of your first time experiencing the Reggie Lewis Center. So before I get into the moments from the season themselves, I kind of just wanted to ask, what was your initial sort of thoughts about competing at the Reggie, as they call it?
Well, it was really awesome because Reggie Lewis was the first full-blown indoor track venue that I have ever been to. Because, you know, at our high school we hadn't really no one really had an indoor track at high school. I mean, who has an indoor high school track really? Maybe some like the really rich high schools, even rich, or I should say even richer. What's it? It was really cool. Like I liked seeing the indoor throwing circle, and that was also kind of different because I remember in outdoor track, you know, when we throw the metal shot put, that was more kind of like usually they throw in like sand, but in indoor we had the floor. It was like a matted floor kind of. It was like a really hard mat kind of, and I remember some of the players would even like they'd like put like powder on their hands so the shot put could like stick to their hands and they can aim it better. So a lot of the times the floor had like just like white powder all around it because everyone was using that to kind of just like, you know, to help with like the grip and everything. So yeah, it was just cool. It was a bit more in certain ways like laid back, I guess, than outdoor track because I really was only focusing on one event. That's the thing. Like
yeah.
We're not like Rhode Island where we do, you know, shot put and weight. Massachusetts doesn't do weight in high school, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, you had mentioned that before. Yeah.
Yeah, and hey, every state has their rules, whatever. But I didn't do the weight until actually I got to Wheaton, and you can see an episode. I talked about that more in the Wheaton episode that we did. Yeah, no. So it was just kind of laid back because then I could really focus on shot put. I could really kind of hone in those skills and really take more time with that. Whereas like in outdoor track, you have to worry about a few different events and everything. And one of the things, and yeah, so
nice. And so when it came to the season itself, again, it's interesting because you're competing. Again, unlike the spring season, you're competing against sort of all the schools at once. And each meet, you're specifically matched up against a team, so to speak, from like scoring purposes. But like all the meets and events are all the teams together. So what was that? So like, and what were some of your sort of on top of that from that first winter season that you did? What were some of your favorite memories from that winter season?
Oh man, I mean, it was just kind of just going to the meets, honestly, where it was very memorable for me. Just taking the bus there. I remember we took it through to like Route 9. It was my first kind of venture onto like that area, that part of Boston, and just that alone to me was like really cool. And just having this one, you're right, like you said, this one big area where you see all the high schools. And it's funny because I talked to my friend Ryan, and we were and he went to one of the high schools nearby too, and we were talking to each other, and we were like, I think we were literally at the same track meets at Reggie Lewis. Like we didn't even know each other back then, but we were probably at the same track meets a lot of times. So Yeah, no, it's really cool. And it also kind of got me ready for college a little bit, because we also had, for the college indoor season, gone to Reggie Lewis for some of the meets. But yeah, it was kind of interesting and just going there was just kind of an experience on its own too, because they had like a Dunkin' Donuts there where you can, between like, especially because when I was at Reggie Lewis, since I only did one event, so it's like I could just kind of run away after doing the event and take a quick Dunkies break.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I actually have some experience with the Reggie Lewis Center myself. Because when I was in college, I did an internship. I don't know if I've really mentioned this on the show before, maybe like on a couple of occasions, but I did an internship with, Kyle had to flip his little parking time ticket right side up. But anyway, behind the scenes. No, I did an internship with John Brown, the athletic director of Wellesley High School. Shout out John Brown. And one of the things that I did for that was I actually went in with the track team on the bus to their meets at the Reggie Lewis, or a couple of their meets, and like kind of shadowed the coaches and like helped like keep the score and stuff like that. It was actually a really cool experience for me, like be able to sort of see what that was like. I really enjoyed, like, the Reggie Lewis is a really great venue, like there's no question about it. Kyle's absolutely right. It's a really cool place to like both watch and participate in, like a track event, and there's also like basketball courts. They do a lot of stuff in there.
They do. They're like an all multi-purpose kind of. Yeah,
very multi-purpose venue. But no, it was really cool to be a part of that. So I definitely enjoyed that. And so now, we kind of transition from the winter to, again, the spring season of that 2007 season, your junior spring, your third spring.
Yes.
Participating in the spring part of the track and field season. So just sort of talk about what the build-up, again, you're kind of coming right off the winter season and the spring season, but just sort of talk about a little bit what the build-up to that junior season was like for you from the spring side of things.
Well, I gotta say, it was definitely the smoothest transition I've ever had into track, because it's like we barely even skipped a beat. Yeah. And a quick note too, I did forget to mention about the Reggie Lewis meets. I did actually end up trying out for the 200.
Oh jeez.
And honestly, it was fun as hell. I loved doing it. It was one of my favorite events. But was I an all-star? No. But that's okay. I really don't care. It was fun. I remember I ran to one of the coaches, actually, Coach Ash, who was coaching at the time, and I was like, I was asking for, and he was in charge of like timing the race, and he took our times down, and I go to him, I'm like, what was my time? He goes, oh yeah, it was like 30 seconds. I'm like, oh, that must be a really good time, right? He goes, yeah, it's pretty good. He was being really nice about it. I was like, yeah, okay, I guess it's not the best. Because then I looked at some of the other times, and they were like, oh yeah, the best time was like, I think 20 or I don't know, 15, 20 seconds or whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, nope, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna go anywhere near that.
Negative.
But I had fun doing it, so that's what counts.
It's not if you win or lose, it's all how you play the game. Exactly.
But yeah, no, so even with that in mind, like doing some of those sprints, and it was just a very easy transition. It was very seamless, and it was actually, so junior was definitely kind of a more special year for me, especially for spring track, because it was actually the last season in which Coach Rubin had coached track as well.
That's right.
Yeah, because that was
his last year at Wellesley High. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that year in football was his last time I had him as football coach, and then same thing with track. I had him only 1 year for indoor track, which is kind of strange. And then I'll definitely talk more about that for next year, because that was very interesting. I'm trying to remember even what they did for indoor. Well, anyways, we'll get to that next episode when our special guest comes on. But yeah, it was a pretty seamless transition. I felt like you're right. Like, and it was kind of nice. I was excited also to go back into discus. I really couldn't wait for that because that was actually my favorite event. I love doing the discus. That was the most fun I had, I think, out of all the track events in high school. So
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, and then just sort of that season itself, just sort of any memories, sort of personal or team wise, that you remember, care to comment on from that junior season.
Well, it was overall, it was a really good season. It was kind of one of those seasons where I began to feel like, oh, I'm a junior now. Oh, I'm becoming one of the older students now. So I feel like I had more wisdom, and I'm like, oh, I can, if anyone needs help doing discus or shot put, I can help them out with that or whatever. So I was, yeah. So no, it was,
I don't know why I just did this, but no, I had nothing to do with it. But
But yeah, no, it was good. It was sad to see actually some of my teammates go because I had my throw teammate Catherine, who I've known since freshman year. It was actually her senior year when it was my junior year, and it was really sad to see her go because she was one of my favorite teammates that we had, and it was also sad that we didn't have Thomas and my other friend Mike there that year. But no, it was still really good. It was still a lot of fun. I had a great time with Coach Ruben as always. And we had a lot of new throwers, and we even had some people who were actually, I think one of my friends, Emily, I believe, who is usually a runner, she actually was trying out for javelin that year. So I think people were kind of trying out different events, which was really cool. So
cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. So sounds like a really fun season, both on the winter and the spring side of things.
Yes.
So I can't wait to sort of hear you sort of wrap it all up with our hopefully our special guest, assuming he is actually able to join us when we do it.
Yes.
Next episode for senior year.
Oh yeah, senior year. Oh, that's gonna be a fun episode.
Yeah, can't wait to bring that all to you. But
so excited.
We're gonna begin to wrap up this episode now with our sort of end segments that we always enjoy doing, and I guess I'll start off with my final thoughts. And my final thoughts is like, thank God yesterday that I had Bruins and Celtics playoff action to watch, because the Boston Red Sox, I am done. I am done with the 2020 Red Sox. They have lost 8 games in a row. They're 6-16. They're just, it's not fun to watch anymore. I know, baseball has always been my favorite sport. The Red Sox have always been my favorite team since I was 7, 8 years old. This is the worst season of Red Sox baseball that I have ever witnessed in my entire life watching the Red Sox. I'm not kidding. This is brutal. They have no pitching. Their offense is not doing anything. Nobody is doing anything for this team. They just keep losing games, whether they get blown out. They've literally been swept 2 series in a row. They've lost 8 consecutive games. Now they're going up against the Phillies tonight. We'll see maybe if they can snap the streak. Probably not. But it's just, I'm so happy that at least there is Bruins hockey and Celtics playoff basketball to distract me and give me something to cheer and get excited about in this return to sports, because the Red Sox are just not doing it. So, yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay.
My little mini rant there. And now, to take us off the cliff and into something much more pleasant, let me bring in my fearless co-host, Kyle, for another edition of the Suze Reviews. Kyle, take it away, my friend.
All right, so for this episode, I wanted to do a special car music edition of the Suze Reviews. And I wanted to show...
Yeah, car music. Woo! Yeah, woo! All right.
Okay, we're going to do that for every segment, every time we do that. Yeah, that's going to be a new thing now.
Hopefully they let us upload, because we just played random music, but that's okay.
I mean, it's only a few seconds, so it's whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't like a whole song or anything like that.
No. But, so one of the
if I discussed it that whole episode, I'm going to be pissed. But...
Oh, I know, right? Worst comes worst, so we'll find a way to bleep it out or whatever. I know, YouTube copyrights and stuff.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. You're usually a pretty masterful editor.
Oh, thank you. But one of the albums I want to talk about, and I don't know, like, does anyone remember this band called The Bravery?
Wait, are they the ones that did that song? I can't even remember the name of it, but I feel like I've heard of one of their songs. Hold on a second.
Yes, you 100% have.
No, you continue. I'm just, so I feel now it's gonna drive me crazy. The Bravery, yeah. What song do I have? Believe.
Yes.
Believe. Thank you.
Yeah.
Give me something to believe, 'cause I am waiting just to leave. Yeah.
Something more.
I'm waiting for. So give me something to believe.
Okay.
And thus concludes the on-air portion of our singing. Anyway, sorry, continue.
No, that's good. So I'm glad you know that song and that band, because I'm going to talk about the album that song came from. It's called The Sun and the Moon. I think it's a very underrated album. I really enjoy it. So what's really great about this album, though, so if you notice this, it says The Bravery, The Sun and the Moon, complete. So you're probably asking
not
yourself,
incomplete.
not incomplete, yeah, not like half-assed, not like barely there kind of thing. Yeah, complete. Which means you're probably thinking, okay, what does that even mean, right? What does complete mean? So what they did.
Well, dictionary.com defines complete as
So what they did, I'm going to show you the back of this, is they actually had they call it The Sun and the Moon. So they essentially released the first version of the album called The Sun. That was the original album that you heard.
Yeah.
And then they have The Moon, which is that album, all the same songs, but they completely remade them. So they're like completely different versions of those songs. Almost remixes. They're remixes / remix of the songs. Yeah, right? And it's cool. It's really great. Oops, so sorry, I got a little mixed CD. So the presentation's really cool. You know, you got the booklet. I broke the CD by accident. That was my bad. I'm gonna have to get a new CD case, so that's why it's like this. So you can actually, it's cool. You got this like you can flip it like this. You can do the sun side.
How dare you?
Or the moon side. Oops, sorry,
how dare you?
Yeah. So it's really cool. And you know, even the CDs look really nice. You got the Sun CD, and of course you got what's on the back? Oh, the Moon CD.
The moon.
There we go.
Yeah, the moon.
So it's really
We're
great.
getting mooned.
The moon.
No, we're not. I promise you, folks, we will not moon anybody on there in this broadcast.
Oh no, definitely not. That was Scar Moon for life.
Yeah.
And got us kicked off the air.
That'll scar us for life.
Yeah, that's a good point too. But
oh boy,
it's a great album. I think you definitely should give it a listen. I think it's really cool that they have both versions, and I think it really gives the album a lot of replay value, because they're essentially like these like really high quality remakes / remixes of the songs that they made, and I think they're all great. You know, some I think are even better than The Sun. So like some of The Moon, they kind of kicked up the pace a bit. So a lot of the songs are a bit more fast paced.
Yeah,
which is really cool. You know, it kind of harkened back to their original album, their self-titled album that had Honest Mistake. So if you really like that, that style of music from their first album, then you'll probably maybe even gravitate towards The Moon more. But I like having the Sun album, because I like having to choose a song. So it's a great album. They're more of like an alternative rock band. So if you like the song Believe, then I think you should definitely check this album out more, and see what you think of the remixes. And so a couple other quick songs that I'm sure you remember is outside of Believe, Time Will Let Me Go was a pretty big hit too, and This Is Not the End, maybe? Well, okay, I guess that's about it. So anyways, it's a great album, so check it out if you get a chance.
Well, thank you, Kyle. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully we didn't just ruin our episode by me playing those few seconds of music, but
no, you're fine.
All right, perfect.
Don't worry about it.
So excuse me, and you got to hear us sing, which is really not the best thing in the world, but it's okay. That's gonna do it for this week's edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. So glad we were able to join you live and in person this time. Always excited to get together and do these episodes in person whenever possible. So, until next time, he's Kyle. I'm Robbie. And I can go like this because we're in person. Ow, ow. Anyway, we'll see.
I'm telling.
We'll see you next time. I'm telling my mommy. We'll see you next time on a Couch Talking Sports. Excuse me. Bye, everybody. I'm so sorry. I was just trying to be helpful.
Robbie.
I just pressed the wrong button. Oh my God! Stop doing this. What are you doing?
I'm driving us out of here. I'm done with this. All done. Oh, hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, what's up? We're in a car.
Yeah.
Talking sports.
We're not actually driving though. This is just,
No, we're not actually driving.
It's actually green screen behind us. It's not even real.
We're not. Yeah, this is not a real motor vehicle.
Yeah, we're like in a studio. Well, it's kind of a motor vehicle. It's like a prop motor vehicle.
Right.
It's like a studio because we're just that good on the Couch Studios. Yeah. So we have like all the yeah. It's nice and cool in here.
It's very cool in here.
Oh man.
It's cold as ice.
It's cold as ice. Great song.
You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love.
Pay the price.